And guys, this video is brought to you by 𝗕𝗪𝗀𝗀. Now live on the Binance Smart Chain, you can swap, stake and earn on 𝗕𝗪𝗀𝗀 for extremely lucrative rewards. Now 𝗕𝗪𝗀𝗀 is VenomDAO's latest initiative after establishing ViperSwap, Harmony's leading decentralized exchange. Head over to 𝗕𝗪𝗀.exchange and start earning rewards today. Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be taking a look at Polygon and specifically the price action of Matic and to see where things are going and where things are likely to go next. Guys, as we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here. Right, with all that said, done, out of the way, let's get into this technical analysis on Matic. We're going to start things off with this weekly chart like we usually do, just to talk through what we're seeing here and what kind of moves we might be looking for next, right? So everything really kind of kick-started back in March of 2020, and we can see that basically from there all the way up to a high that was achieved back in May of 2021 was 42,655% in gains. So some very lucrative gains have been made with Matic. There was a small pullback here, which is in line with the rest of the crypto space. This is equivalent to the fourth wave on many altcoins. Then we started to see a good recovery. Bitcoin had a small blip earlier in the week, but otherwise we have actually started to recover from there quite well. We are, of course, still below our 618,702,786 area, which many altcoins are now approaching or passing. This is going to be a key area for many, and Matic needs to get past this area to see some good moves to the upside. Overall, we are targeting $9.43. This is 581% from the current position. So still quite a bit of progress to happen here, and still some pretty good gains to be had for this particular project. We can see that the stochastic is pretty reasonably placed. It's a bit slower than many of these other coins at the moment, but again, it was slow to start with anyway. We can also see that there is a nice amount of room to grow back up into this overbought area from the oversold area during the correction that it had over here. The small pullback in the middle in the case of what Bitcoin did earlier in the week is also not unusual. We've seen these things happen quite a bit. You can see one just over here, but you can see there was a series of kind of pullbacks for Matic before it really got some traction going to it. Ultimately, when Ethereum starts going absolutely nuts, I think this is when you're going to start seeing Polygon network and Matic absolutely go nuts too. So it can be like it feels like it's going very, very slowly, but patience will be key with this one. Again, this is something that Chris has been talking about for a very long time. He was invested in this one way back when we first started the channel, has been invested since, and it was a really early adopter of it, and he has definitely seen some pretty good lucrative returns because of that. So again, being patient and not selling at a loss and all that kind of stuff, dollar cost average by positions where possible are our strategies. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. Chris is not a financial advisor, so it's important that you do your own research on all of these cryptocurrencies. Right. Overall, the weekly chart is looking pretty good, and I do think that we're going to see some pretty good gains going further forward. It just might feel like it's going quite slow. And when we jump down into our daily view, this is where things actually start to get a little bit more interesting, right? Because here we can see the volatility that happened with Bitcoin pulling us down from these higher areas here over a few day period. Actually, it was a 38% drop, right? So a natural correction was looking like it was happening here. Then Bitcoin just dragged it all the way down to our 236 area. This was a bounce, and we started to see a good steady rise from here. And we're going to get into what that looks like on the hourly chart in a moment, but we can see that we are oversold on this daily chart, so loads of room to grow to the upside now. The only concern is you should be looking at the loss of momentum over time, but again, this is in line with what you're seeing with Ethereum. Right now, once Ethereum actually starts to really run massively and starts to get those gas fees to a point where they're just not really usable, this is where Matic really starts to come into its own and will break this trend. So I think the next push to the upside on our stochastic is going to invalidate that downtrend that we just saw there. So overall, I think we're on the cusp of some big changes here for Matic. We do need to see, of course, this yellow box area get overtaken with a closed candle above the 786. So we're looking for a closed candle above $2.25 to really see the next catalyst for a big push to the upside. So overall, everything here is not looking too bad. Again, we can look at those Fibonacci areas, right? The first target is $3.98, second target $6.06, $8.15 is your third target, followed by that 4.236 extension of $9.43. Those are the expectations for this project during the remaining parts of the bull run. Now, what we're going to do is jump down into our hourly, and this is where we start to review what's been going on most recently with the price action. So basically, we started seeing a bit of a downward trend, we're upward trend as well. And what we were looking for was this kind of catalyst for a big break to the upside. Okay, and it was at this moment here that we were looking for that break, but unfortunately Bitcoin decided to take it into its own hands. We saw a breakdown, and instead we actually went all the way down to the downside, all the way down to our 236 area. Now, what's interesting about this is obviously there's always a bounce from these scenarios, right? We bounced from here, and we just went up to this area. They got rejected, and we came back down. Now we've set a higher low. Okay, this low is higher than this low here, and we bounced from this area and we went up, got rejected from here, but this is a lower high than these ones, right? So we're going down at this point, and then we're setting another higher low. So basically you're ending up with it's getting stuck inside a triangular wedge, right? I'll quickly just draw that up. It's a small time frame, so these things are not the best, but you get the idea. When I draw this on, right? So we had this this downward trend kind of appearing between these lines here, for example, right? They were getting really, really wedged in tight, and then you saw another bounce from this area, and then we broke through, and then we continued to the growth to the upside, right? So we broke it by going through, and that's what this candle here symbolizes. So overall, really, really well. So what you ended up with was basically a high point being set here, okay, or a lower high than this one, for example, okay, followed up by a lower high, followed by a lower high. But what else did we have? We had a low here, a higher low, and a breakthrough event. Okay, so we broke it. So the trend line here and here were completely now invalid. We had the pullback going down to our upward trend line that's this longer piece. Again, pushing us right the way back up to this previous high area here, pulling back, pushing up, again setting now a higher high than these ones. Okay, so we now have higher highs. Again, bouncing down to a new higher low. Okay, so again, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and now again we're going for a higher high on these. So now everything is tracking to the upside after this. So this is actually what I was saying with many of these altcoins in the space, right? Ultimately what we're looking for was basically to make sure that this bounce didn't take us to lower lows, okay, because that would be a bearish signal, and normally a rejection from here would be bearish in most circumstances. Instead, you would see this fall down, and we would go lower than this low area here. But because we're actually in a bullish sentiment, and this correction was artificial in the way that it was designed, as in, it was a Bitcoin dump had been created, and as a result, the altcoin market moved with it, then actually we're still bullish overall. And what you actually saw was then this series of higher lows being set all the way up here, right? And now we're looking to track that a little bit higher. So again, we're now targeting that kind of $1.52 area, again, the other area of resistance. And then eventually we're going to look to try to get wedged inside here in this triangular wedge here, and then have that blast to the upside there. So overall, a little while longer, we should start to see a good traction out of this area here. We just pull that back up. We'll basically look for moving up into this area and then blasting through some of these other key areas for us. So overall, everything has been performing quite well, although very frustrating that we lost this triangular wedge because of Bitcoin. A new trend has formed, and it's a very, very strong one. So for the long term here, I think we're doing really well. When we take a look at the weekly, the daily, everything there is looking very, very well. But overall, we are looking on the shorter time frame to look very positive as well. A little bit of work still to go. We've got a lot of resistance now to work our way back through, but other than that, we'll be back towards our yellow box area, back towards our $2.25 zone, where we're looking to get that closed candle, and then we'll be in a big bull signal move to the upside, following Ethereum on the way to our $9.43 area. Guys, hopefully you have found this brief update on Matic useful and informative. If you have, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here. Guys, with this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.